February 14th, 2025, and this video is called Exploding Drone Hits Chernobyl Sarcophagus. Now, yesterday, which would have been on the 13th, here, it would have been the 14th in Ukraine. They're saying it's Russian, but I would like to see the evidence, not by just them saying it, but they said that a drone reportedly struck the sarcophagus at the Chernobyl nuclear power plant. They specifically targeting the protective structure known as the new safe confinement. It covers the remains of reactor number 4. Now, President Zelensky is stating that the drone carried a high explosive warhead, caused damage which was significant to the shelter, and broke fire following the strike that was extinguished. Now, I'll say it was a explosive warhead, but I don't think it was high because it would have did a lot more damage than it did. So I don't know if they're kind of juicing up that detail a little bit. According to the International Atomic Energy Agency, they said that the radiation levels have not increased following the incident, but I'll show you a little graph that shows that they did spike. So I don't know where it came from, but it's obvious that it spiked 2 times about the same time as this accident. It says that it's raising concerns about the nuclear safety with the ongoing conflict in the region. They say that there's no immediate threat to public safety from radiation leakage, but we heard the same thing from 3 Mile Island. We heard the same thing with Fukushima. We heard the same thing with Chernobyl back in the day. So I would treat it with caution, these so-called experts of what would be safe or not. Now, what I came across is this is Nullskull, which is just weather information, and here we've got the winds aloft blowing. Now this is going to be at ground level, but if you could see on the 14th at 2 military time right there, it's actually showing the winds are blowing from the north. So keep that in mind. Here is some video of it. See, it happened on 2/14/2025 at 200 hours. I think that's what it's called. But watch this video. It's going to get the explosion is here, and just watch the way the wind blows. And see how it's blowing this way, which would be towards those towers. There's the hole. So it was explosive. I'm not calling it highly explosive because it would have blew a way bigger hole if they wanted to do that kind of damage. But notice the wind is blowing this way towards where the towers are. I was trying to figure that out on which way this is blowing due to those winds on that map. And here's the towers. So the wind and smoke is blowing this way, right? According to that video. So it would mean it's blowing this way to the north. But it definitely looks like, well, yeah, look at the winds are blowing to the north. But this is the reason why I'm bringing it up, is because I'll show you this map that has radiation detectors around Chernobyl. Now this is the highest one, which is right on the reactor there, the cover. There's the sarcophagus. And look at it, it's pretty high, but it's all constant, right? But when I pulled up, I think it was this guy, look at these spikes over here. There's a spike there, and there's a spike there. And then little spikes over here. Those are pretty good spikes. And then if you look at this one over here, they pick up the spikes as well, but they're smaller. See them? And they're all coordinated about the same time. So that's why I'm wondering, why is these meters going higher to the south of the plant when actually the wind was blowing towards the north? That makes no sense. See, they're just high, but there's no spikes on that north side. Not there. Not there. Not there. But definitely on the outside there's spikes. Boom. Boom, higher. Let's go down here. See, they're not doing it right there. Way down there, look at this one. So I'm wondering if that plume came this way at all, because these 3 monitors definitely seen the spike. That one's not showing it. That one's not showing it. That's not showing it. And that's not showing it. Let's go down here. That one's not showing it. So these right here, spike, giant spike, another spike. Let's go up here. No, so there is no spike over there. Isn't that kind of weird? And then here's those towers right here. Here's the sarcophagus. So we'll check this down the road to see when the Google satellite gets refreshed. That will show that hole in it. It looks like it came right about over here. And then I want to end with this. I was wondering, remember back in the day when the war started over there and the Russians took it over and there was radiation spikes and the soldiers ended up getting radiation exposure? So the Russians actually took over Chernobyl for a while, but I don't remember them talking about when they left. And they're saying March 31st, 2022, that the Russian soldiers have withdrawn from Chernobyl. Because remember, they took away the engineers and they were all worried it was going to melt down or do something, get out of control again. So I really didn't hear that the Russians left. But right now, the Ukrainians are in charge of it, I guess. Right there, the IAEA transferred back to the Ukrainian personnel in 2022. And they say the reason suggests that Russia withdrawal was due to military losses and potential radiation exposure to their troops. So it's definitely poison over there in the ground. But some people are saying that it's possibly maybe Zelensky did this to make Putin look worse. Because I'm saying if this is no way a high explosive drone, if it was high explosive, it would have blew this thing to smithereens. It wouldn't put just a hole like this in it if it was a quote unquote high explosive. This is bad. You don't want this to happen. Like, can you imagine trying to patch this thing up? But I would really like to know and see the pattern of where did that drone really come from? Did it come from Russia, or was it a setup by Ukraine to make Russia look bad? So that's the latest in Chernobyl. I mean, it just goes to show when you have nuclear meltdowns, this thing is going to have to be maintained for what? 100, 200, 300 years, 1,000 years? This is never going away. Just like Fukushima. So it's just one more point where what's the point of nuclear if you're going to have these accidents that last forever, I guess. Will there be humans around to maintain these things is the big question. Because technically, these isotopes that they play around with have a half-life that's that will age way longer than the human race. So think about that one. All right, so I ended up zooming in on these dates over here. So that happened on Thursday over there. This would be the Thursdays right in here, these little bumps here. So I don't know what was going on Monday and Wednesday, because definitely they're peaking out over there where none of the other ones, maybe it was the stuff that was blown around in the soil there, but it doesn't show on any of the other readings. They're just flat lines. So definitely Thursday's the biggest spike is when that happened. But what was happening on Wednesday and Monday? Because if you look at any of the other readings, they're basically flatlining. I mean, this is pretty high. This is the highest one, which is right on top of it. But if you noticed, there's no spikes. They're all like that. They're just flat lines right there. But for some reason, these three right here definitely spiked at the same time. And what I was saying about the wind blowing, the wind was blowing north. So why are they spiking south? So you also got to remember that we are taking the facts that are given to us. So they may be telling us what are assumed facts, but we don't know the true truth. Just remember that.